This is another top 100 team. The main change on this team is honestly us getting the 1.5 million for each break entry, which is where I would say most of this damage increase is coming from. Also because I changed my Fern to be base speed instead of having a little bit of speed. But we'll be doing it with Requiem Roana just because, for fun, her S2 passive changes the way the fight works more than pretty much any other unit in this slot if we're remaining with the Roana version. But let's go ahead and take a look at everybody's stats. So Frieren, Cruel Mischief, full damage, Destro, crit, and you're good to go. I have her at 120 speed. The speed tuning on this team is of course going to be really tight. If you have different speeds, you'll have to change various things about your run. Now for our other DPS, we have Fern. Fern, I have her... Actually, I have too much crit chance on her. I could lower her crit chance. But we have Frantic Flight on her. So you could be 90 crit chance, since Frantic gives 10. And besides that, it's just Destro Pen Set with attack, crit damage, and crit chance. I have her at 118 speed here. Next up is Requiem Roana. She strips on her S3, and you can just give her a bunch of attack. She can't crit, so that's another interesting thing about her. Just her not being able to crit changes the way you play your break phases a bit. And then we also have Super Duper Water Shooter. So if you have Card of Small Miracles, I think Card of Small Miracles is just better, because Card of Small Miracles gives you the 5% bonus defense, which helps a lot with having Roana not die during the fight. And then besides that, her speed kind of does matter, just because I think if you had like a ton of speed on this unit, it would change certain timings in the fight, but I have her at 119. It's mainly because you do get Stigma during the main phase, so she only gets 50% CR, and combined with Frieren's push and Roana's push, you could make her take a turn at some points if you gave her a bunch of extra speed. And then we have Roana, who should actually be on self-imprint. That explains why she was so squishy. You're going to want 100% crit chance on her, a bunch of defense, and some HP. I have Warhorn on her. If you're struggling to survive, then you can swap out Warhorn for some sort of sustain artifact, like Rekos or something. Just keep in mind that this does CR push you, so you're going to have to account for the changes in like Roana's positioning if you're not using Warhorn here. And that's it for everybody's stats. One thing about Requiem Roana though is her team imprint hits both Frieren and Fern, which is nice. But we can go ahead and take a look at the run. The only speed RNG that I need to keep in mind here is make sure that Roana's not too far ahead of Fern. I couldn't really tell on that one, but I think it's fine. It's like a very low chance. For the main phase, we just need to hit the ad twice. I'm gonna hit it with Requiem Roana. You could also do your first two hits with an auto until Sovereign's Mana if you want. One interesting thing is just, well, first we're gonna S3 here for the 25% CR push just to change some timings. But the interesting thing is with Requiem Roana's passive, we kind of have to play around it. All the CR push that it gets. When she has Stigma on, your Fern's going to take 2 turns every single time Requiem Roana takes 1. And then once you're in the break phase and the Stigma wears off, Requiem Roana will get a turn pretty much every single time Fern gets a turn. Just, yeah. And we're going to hit the ad one more time. And we're hitting ad to keep her HP high. This is to make sure that we can actually get the 1.5 million break bonus, instead of having it get nullified by the Sovereign's Mana. We're going to hit the ad one more time here, just to reset the stealth counter. And we're going to go for our strips. So I do this in every phase, I think 1 extra S1. And this does make the tanking requirement on your Roana a bit harder. Besides just like giving her a stealth, or rather a healing artifact or something, or a damage reduction one, there's one more thing you can do, but we're going to enter the break phase first. And then now we're going to hit the ad 3 times. I'm going to skip my first Fern turn Just gonna hit this add once. This is for stealth timings, but also because our Fern takes one extra turn in this phase more than we need to, so we can hold her S3 for one more turn. And now we do it with one stack on. So now we're gonna have to add one more time. And the thing that I mentioned for Roana's survivability is Stigma does cut your healing in half. I use S3 here just for tuning purposes, but you could hold it for one more turn if you want and wait until the Stigma wears off. Especially relevant at the end of phase 2 because you start taking a ton of damage in phase 3. And you can see my Roana didn't heal the full HP there. She would have healed twice as much if I waited one more turn. Now we're going to Frieren S3. My first break phase is definitely kind of scuffed, just because ideally you don't want to hit the ad with Fern, but I kind of have to do it. I have to cut Roana here, otherwise we have some sort of, like not great timings there. And then we're going to S1 the ad again. Splits it into stealth, and then Frieren's going to hit Harsetti directly. And now I'm going to hit the ad one more time just to cut Frieren. And we have a spare hit to work with, so I'm just going to hit Harsetti with Requiem Roana here. There's definitely some other ways to tune this, I think. If you just had Fern S3 turn 1 and then S1 twice, it'd be fine if Roana cut Fern there. But I'm just keeping the tuning consistent, because if I change it here, I'll have to change the other phases too. But now we could just do our S3s for damage. And one more fun thing about Roana is she always takes a turn at the very start of every single phase, because she gets pushed up. We're gonna hit the ad every single turn that Requiem Roana takes is gonna go into the ad here. And besides that, we're just waiting for her to take her turns pretty much. One more time. Now the counter is at 2. We're gonna hit the ad here to reset the stealth counter. We can go for our strips again. So here we're going to have Frieren do the first hit and Fern the second hit. One thing to note is that if you have Frieren do the last hit, like if she's at 5% and you hit her with Frieren, the extra attack will immediately do one hit in the break phase. That's definitely something to factor in. We're going to use our Roana S3 here because non-attack skills do still give us that first base stack of target weakness. Now we have our first stack. And then we are going to just directly S3 Harsetti. And then here we're going to get to S1 Harsetti every single turn that Fern takes. So we get a bit more damage here. We're going to hit the ad again. This also uses up our spare hit. And just because where Frieren is, 24%, we are going to be able to cut her, so we don't have to hit the ad, we can just hit Harsetti directly. So now it's roughly the same. We're just going to wait for Sovereign's mana. Make sure we hit the ad when Requiem Roana takes her turns. You see Roana's definitely starting to get pretty low HP. This is where the healing thing I mentioned, where this with the stigma kicks in. Like the extra HP from the healing would be appreciated. And also just if you have Card of Small Miracles over Super Duper Water Tutor, that 5% bonus defense adds up to quite a lot. So I trip the Sovereign mana, and this is pretty much the deciding turn. Yeah, like Card of Small Miracles would help a ton, but if you survive this turn, you're good. Now we're going to do our 2 hits and go into the break phase. We can... First, we're going to hit the ad once. Going to reset the stealth. And I'm not going to S3 here, we're going to S1. This is just to maintain like stacks and stuff. And then we have to reset the count here, so we're going to hit the ad. Now I'm trying to think. Let's hit this. 2. Then I'm going to hit this and make it 3. We're going to hit Harsetti directly here. I'm going to S3 here to strip it, or to remove the stealth. And then here, I can't afford the S3 for CR purposes, so we're just going to S1 the ad. Hitting or using S3 versus S1 is 20% extra CR, so Frieren would have cut Fern here, and it wouldn't have been good. We're just going to S3 here instead. And we can finish it off.